All right, folks, welcome back to the TNT show. So before we jump into our offseason breakdown series for the NFL, just really quick. Uh Game 7, NBA Finals. Who you got? Thunder Pacers.
I'm gonna go Thunder.
Thunder.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go out
That's all
on
I
a
have.
limb. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say the Pacers.
I'm like you. I don't know if they throw the game, but I mean, maybe it is on their home court.
That is true. It definitely is.
So we'll see. But yeah, I'm gonna go Thunder.
Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna take the Pacers on that one. So it'll be interesting for sure. A couple of days rest. Tyrese Halliburton should be, I'd say, probably close to 100% ready to go for that game. So we'll see. But
Yes, let's
off
just jump
season,
straight into this breakdown. We're gonna start with the AFC East, correct?
yep, yep,
All right, so that includes the Bills, the Dolphins, the Jets, and the Patriots. So obviously, starting off with the Bills, they won the division. Josh Allen was the MVP, almost the Super Bowl. He was the MVP. So I think we just start there. Obviously, James Cook is still holding up for a contract. So some question marks for them. Obviously, I think the biggest thing for them is um, Super Bowl now at this point.
yeah. You've been to
So,
two conference championships, came up short both times.
yeah, for
Um,
sure.
I mean, Josh Allen has his MVP, so yeah,
So
like you said,
what they paid him in the offseason, paid him a bunch of money. So what do you do?
I don't.
How do you get him to where he needs to be?
I mean, paying him all that money, you still got to build a contender around him too. So receiver wise, I feel like they're still lacking. So I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah, but see, James Cook is holding out. That was a lot of their points last year. He scored a bunch.
Yeah, that he did.
So, I mean, now you're going to really get to see Keon Coleman because they got rid of Matt Collins. So, I don't know. Their team, they brought in Josh Palmer from the Chargers.
Yeah,
So, I don't like you. It's like we talked about. He's not elite by any means.
yeah. I
So,
mean, the receivers they had last year weren't exactly elite by any means, and Josh Allen still got an MVP. So I guess it's more on him to make them look good.
yeah, I mean, without him, obviously, they're probably not a very good team. But at the same time, he kind of got what he wanted. He got the MVP. So now it's time for you to take that next step, which we've talked about 100 times. Easier said than done. But but what do you think that they could make a Super Bowl with what they got?
Um,
Let's just say, he's playing to the level of what he has. With the team that they have, do you think that they can make a Super Bowl run or possibly even win one?
given everything that they have, I'd say yeah. Because remember, they did add Joey Bosa in the offseason to help
Yeah.
out their defense, as long as he stays healthy. He's
Yeah.
added
It's
into
the
a defense that was
offensive
already.
side.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's the receiver room. I feel like if the receiver room can kind of take a leap from what they were last year, then I think they're definitely a team that can win a Super Bowl.
Um, I want to look. Go ahead and we'll go ahead and jump to the Dolphins, so we're not taking too much time. I'm going to look at see how many touchdowns James Cook has started. I'll let you touch on the Dolphins. I know you know a little bit more about Tua. So what if you're Miami? What's running through your head here?
So basically, if you're Miami, you drafted a quarterback in the 7th round who was, I guess, up and down as far as his draft status. So obviously, I think you was falling that far. It's probably due to his injury concerns. Um, but again, he's still a good talent. You saw what he can do at Texas. You've seen what he can do at his peak. So if you're Miami, it's like you kind of got a win-win because if let's say Tua gets hurt, yours comes in, he plays great.
They
Then
did sign Zach Wilson too.
don't even bring his name up ever again.
So off topic just for a second. So James Cook ran for 1,000 yards and scored 16 times.
Yeah, that's a lot.
So that's 16 touchdowns.
Is that including receiving or is that all rushing?
That's just rushing.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know
Yeah.
how many. Yeah, he only scored twice through the air. He usually just runs it in. So, but yeah, all right. Anyway, back to the Dolphins. Yeah, it's Tua's health concern that he almost got forced into retirement. So
If if he takes another concussion, if he gets another concussion next season, he's got to go ahead and hang it up. I'm sorry.
yeah, for
I
sure,
get it.
it's
Your
not.
sport, you're passionate about it, but you're at this point you're putting your long term health in jeopardy.
Yeah, I don't know what that looks like from a contract standpoint, though. Like, do they get their money back, or I don't know how all that like works. But again, like you said, I mean, when he got hurt, their team was atrocious. But I think the plan was, and the thought was, okay, let's not bring in a good quarterback because obviously Tua is um the guy. So you don't want to bring in a quarterback in that's better, and then okay, well, let's just move on from him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I say. I mean, in the 7th round, you still got a pretty good talent. Let's say he does get hurt, Ewers comes in and plays good. It's great because you got somebody who can either be a bridge or your franchise guy, given he gets a shot. If he plays bad, then I mean, hey, he was a 7th round quarterback, so you're not going to catch a lot of heat for it.
Yeah, and I mean they got to keep their team together too. I mean Tyreek Hill, I don't know what he's out here doing. He's out here trying to race people like with his feet.
He's a funny
Why are
guy.
you why are you worried about racing somebody? Think you might be worried about football.
Be worried about trying to win some more rings.
I don't know if they're going to do it with Tua, just to be honest.
Honestly, as good as that
Every
offense
time he
is,
steps on the field, if I'm an owner, every time he steps on the field, I'm just hoping he doesn't get hurt.
that one fully healthy season that he had, that was his best season with Tyreek and Waddle and that entire offense. You could see what they could be at like the pinnacle.
Yeah,
So he just got to stay healthy. That's all. That's one of the big. That's one of the things I really want for him. I'd love for him to have another fully healthy season because you know what he can do.
yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, like I said, he got hurt. Their team was terrible.
Awful.
So either he's that good, or I mean, yeah, it made it look like hey, Tua's one of the greatest quarterbacks because could nobody come in there.
Yeah.
I mean, and now with a grain of salt, it's not like Skylar Thompson. Who else did they have?
I couldn't even tell you. That's how.
Jacoby Brissett, maybe.
Was it him? I don't even know.
he was with the Patriots. Whoever they had, they were terrible. So, but yeah, as far as the Dolphins go, that's your biggest thing. It's just keeping Tua healthy. I mean, so, but let's jump to the Jets. Obviously, Justin Fields is going to get some another chance. I think this is it. This is three teams before your rookie contract is even up. So,
Yeah,
I
you.
mean,
He just got to show the consistency. If he can show the consistency as a passer, I think again a great talent, but we need the consistency as a passer.
yeah, you brought in you. They have a good team on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
Two pretty good running backs. They brought in Garrett. They still got Garrett Wilson. They brought in somebody, I think.
Mhm.
So it's honestly, you should really have no excuse. So I don't know. You've seen it a little in Pittsburgh. Russell Wilson was just better. He
Yeah.
was making those throws that Fields just can't.
Exactly.
Just a little bit better. He was just better, and that shit is what it is. Call it what it is. Call it how you want to. But I think this could be if he struggles here, he's done. He'll be a backup or he'll be out of the league or whatever you want to call it. So, how long do you give him though? Do you give him I think you got to give him at least 2 years, at least,
I
unless he's
say at
just got
least
off.
I say at least two, give him the benefit of the doubt. And it just depends on how good or bad that first season is. If the first season is like okay, his numbers look good, and y'all finish, let's say they finish at like 9-8, I think that's worthy of a second season if they bring in
Oh,
some
for
more
sure,
pieces to put it around.
for sure, for sure. I think so too. I don't think it's like you said, like we always say, first year, take it with a grain of salt. You really don't know. But if he comes out and they win 3 games, yeah, they'll move on for sure. Their team's too good. They got talent. So because they drafted Mason Taylor at LSU, and they said he's going to be tied at number one. So he's built like a receiver, so he can definitely help Justin Fields in that game, in that aspect too.
Yeah, that'll be a
All
good
right.
security blanket for him.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like I said, they got Garrett Wilson. I mean, he's had numbers with bums. So I think as long as they can stay healthy, and like you said, as long as he can stay somewhat consistent, that's what I want to see. He either looks really good or he's bad. There's no he doesn't have that in between.
Yeah, I mean he's like I said, natural talent when it comes to running. That's God given. But it's just that, like I said, once he hits that stride or he takes that next step and building
Yeah,
that
he
consistent.
definitely showed you in Chicago and in Pittsburgh what he could do. It's just he had those fall off.
Yeah.
So, but let's jump to your New England Patriots. I'll let you start.
So first off, I think they did a lot of good. I mean, first off, you brought in a coach, the experienced coach, the coach who's made it to a conference championship. I
For
love
sure.
they. I think they hit a home run with the draft. We drafted a
And
great
they
all
did have a
around
pretty
back.
good one.
Yeah, I think they got the best offensive tackle in the draft.
Yeah, for sure.
And I mean, they didn't make any like major moves in free agency, but I think they were like some very these guys that they brought in are going to be some solid contributors.
I
So
mean, not to be biased or I know it was people probably thought it was funny, but Bill Campbell literally said he would die to protect Drake. Man, that's what you want.
yeah, you want somebody like that.
I mean, All American. I think he only gave up one sack, maybe two, in his 3 years of college, if he even gave up that many. So yeah, he's not very big, like big, but I mean he's young. He's going to be one of those like unless injuries just get to him, he'll be one of those that he'll be in the Hall of Fame. He'll
Yeah,
play for 10, 15 years and be in the Hall of Fame. But yeah, like you
multiple.
said, brought in a new coach. You've seen Drake May what he could do with no disrespect to the Patriots wide receiver core, but
Oh, that quote was
lesser
terrible. Like,
lesser talents. So they brought in Stephon Diggs. So I know he's been having off the field, whatever he's got going on. But as long as that doesn't transition to week one and he's healthy, he's coming off an ACL team. So as long as he's healthy, I mean, he's been a force everywhere he's been.
yeah, he'll be the biggest X factor to the
The
offense.
Texans don't. The Texans didn't count. He got hurt.
Yeah, that's true.
So, but I mean, he's been really good everywhere. So
Yep.
maybe a lot of people have the Patriots like making a run here. I
They got
still
the
don't see it.
second.
I don't
They got
see
the
it.
they got the second easiest schedule. So I
Yeah,
feel like
supposedly they have the second easiest schedule, but you won what? How many games have they won? Five,
four.
4 or 5, however many. I don't see you winning 12. You didn't
I
do
won't
that
say.
much.
I won't
But
say that will. I'm thinking maybe 10.
I will say that's still a lot. But I see what people are saying. Look what the Commanders did. All they really did, they brought in some free agents, but realistically, all they really did was bring in Jaden Daniels.
Yep.
He was the biggest difference maker. But like I said, with Drake May, you've seen it. Obviously, he's not a dual threat, but you have to kind of respect it because he can't run. Yeah, but he's not. I'm saying he's not like
Oh yeah, no, he's not
Justin
Lamar or
Fields
anybody,
or
but he
or Josh
he
Allen.
can get busy on the ground though.
Yeah, he's kind of like that sneaky, like, okay, I could run for this if I need to. So I just want to see. I know you said you didn't agree with it, but you know, I I want to see what Mike Vrabel's going to do. Like, what if the Patriots suck? What if, like you said, what if they win 6 games? What do? You fire Gerard Mayo for the same thing.
You know how I feel about that. I think it was a setup from the jump, based on
You think it was part of a so-called deal that he was going to get the head coaching job when um, Belichick stepped down. They gave it to him, and they're like, "Look, man,
yeah.
we're just going to let you do this for a year. We're going to get Mike Vrabel when his contract is up."
Now
So
now they probably didn't tell him that, but that's definitely what happened because
that's probably what they probably told him. If
when
you want me to be honest,
I wouldn't be surprised if they did, because I know when Bill Belichick stepped down and they parted ways, or however you want to, whatever kind of language they want
whatever
to
you
use
want to
for that.
call it, yeah, they fired
Yeah.
him. Yeah,
He Gerard Mayo, it was in his contract that he would be the successor head coach.
yeah, yeah,
So that actually, and when that happened, Vrabel was he was still under contract with the Browns. So I think that's who they really wanted. They just knew they couldn't go get it.
yeah. They couldn't get
Of
him, not yet.
Fast forward, you give Gerard Mayo this year with the trash roster, and you fire him because you say we just he's not our guy.
Yeah. So what if the Patriots would have won 10 games? Would they have fired him?
I was thinking the same thing. I think they still would have let him go.
Regardless.
I think regardless, they still would have let him go because they knew who they really
They
wanted to
wanted
be
Mike
their coach.
Vrabel from the jump, yeah.
Yeah, but
So where? So out of these four teams, who's winning the AFC East? The Bills.
I think it's easy to favor the Bills, especially if James Cook eventually, signs his contract or whatever. Um,
Yeah,
for good reason. I mean, they've won the division like the past 2 or 3 years. So, I mean, like I said, they're the favorite right out of the gate, but I wouldn't be surprised if, like I said, Miami's a healthy team. They could challenge the Bills for
for
uh
sure. The only problem with Miami is when they got to go to New York to play. They just struggle in the cold weather.
as long as it's not as long as they get those two games over before or towards the end of the season. When it gets really cold, I think they'll be all right. But you're right though. When they go to the cold weather, they struggle real bad.
Yeah, most teams from the South do. So yeah, I'm gonna go Buffalo. I'm gonna throw a curveball in here. I'm gonna go Patriots in second place, like you said. I think they made some moves. So I'm gonna go Bills, Patriots, Dolphins, Jets. I don't know. I don't know if I can trust Justin Fields.
Again, I
Not
think
right off the bat. I just think that those three teams are just a little bit better than the Jets.
I mean, yes, but also it depends on how they run that offense through him. If they can kind of, like I said, bring him along as a passer while utilizing his run game, they could be a scary team, in all honesty.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they really could. I mean, like I said, they got decent running backs with Brees Hall and the rookie they drafted. My mind went blank. I can't think of what his name is. Um, Braylon Allen.
Yeah. Now, I will say this. If I had to pick a team, the Jets would probably be the team to be like my surprise team. Like, let's say
Surprise.
they make a run and win the division, or they make a run and, get an upset in the divisional round and make the playoffs or something.
So I think, yeah, I'm still going to put the Jets last. I want to see the consistency from Justin Fields. The Dolphins, I don't trust Tua. It's the health concern, so I got to put the Patriots above both of them.
Makes
Like
sense.
people are saying, look at the Patriots. Look at what they've done. I mean, they brought in a lot of talent. So. But yeah,
Yeah.
that pretty much wraps up the AFC East. Next week's episode will be the NFC South. So look forward to the next episode.
Yep. So that was a good kickoff for the our offseason breakdown series. So this is going to be a 8 parts, 4 divisions, not 4 divisions. Yeah, 4 divisions per conference, which
Sorry,
makes up 8 divisions.
my phone cut out. Sorry about that.
No, you're good. Yeah, so eight divisions, 8 episodes. Be on the lookout. Yeah, that pretty much wraps up the first one. So we'll see y'all in the next one.